Look, stop creating a business by yourself. You don't even need to do that anymore. In this day's society, you need to bring in a partner. Being solo dolo is not going to cut it. So today I'm going to give you 7 steps on how exactly you can create a family business that you can implement today. So step number 1, family legacy meeting. So if you're not aware, most people don't really have meetings with their family, nor do they even think that it is smart to have meetings with their family. So the first 2 things, this is what we do in our personal family legacy meeting. We break it up into 2 different sections. The first one is the family aspect, and the second part is the founder aspect. Now, we do the founders meeting first of the family legacy meeting because we need to make sure that everybody's getting the bag. For me, if you don't have the money, there's nothing really for me to talk to you about. So what we do is we really focus on the founders part, which is breaking down the credit, breaking down the business that we're all creating. What are our goals? What are our struggles? Those things are like the key principles in a family meeting, because we need to know who has the best credit. Whoever has the best credit, cool. What can we do to pass the person that has the worst credit the best opportunity? Do we need to give them an authorized user? Do we need to give them plays on primary trade lines? What do we need to do to get people to the next level? That is the founders part of the meeting. Right now, the family part of the meeting, which is the second part, is really honing down on building that personal relationship, that personal bond with your family. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. One of the questions that we ask is, how can you become better in the household, right? And some of the things that most people will think of is cleaning and some of those things, which is what we do. So like, for example, if someone asked me, hey, what are some things in the house that you can do better on? We would say, well, maybe cleaning off the stove, or sweeping the floors, or cleaning the room, or doing more of the laundry, whatever it is. This will build a stronger bond with you and your family member because you are helping them out in some way, shape, or form. Okay, another thing we do in the family part of the meeting is something called game night, right? This is something we do right after our family meeting. This is super, super important because this is a more bonding time, but it's more fun than just discussing about cleaning, right? So we'll play a game, spades, gem rummy, speed, whatever card game, or even Monopoly, any games that you want to personally play. It doesn't even have to be in the house. It can be bowling night, it can be pool night, whatever that you personally want to do within your family. But the key thing is that this is a bonding moment right after you have right after the founders meeting. So I want you all to really take hold that the family legacy meeting is the foundation of your week. This is, you pick one day of the week, one time of the week, and you execute on that. This meeting should take no more than maybe 4 hours to do, 2 to 4 hours, depending on how fast you get through it. Maybe in the beginning, you'll have to take your time and really get the kinks. But honestly, this should take no more than 2 to 4 hours. This is not including game night, okay? So the step number 2 aspect is actually understanding your family history, right? So understanding your family history is super important, all right? This really goes into step 3, 4, 5, and 6, all right? But the first thing you need to do is understand where you came from. What are your personal principles, and then what exactly are your family's personal principles? And we'll touch on that in a little bit later. But the key thing is, now we need to figure out your family tree, which is number 3, right? Your family tree is super important, okay? Your family tree is what's really like the goal, that's the stone of where you're actually gonna figure out your core values, okay? So what I mean by that is, go to Ancestry.com and call your parents, call your grandparents, call your cousins, call your great aunts, whatever, if they're still alive. If not, go as far as you possibly can from the information that you are getting from your family. Okay, now if you are adopted, this may be a little bit harder, right? Because you may not even know your parents, or if you know your parents, you may not have a great relationship with them. And if you do, then execute on the information that I just said. But if you are a foster, then go with the immediate person that is taking care of you, because technically they are your family at this point in time. Use their history, find and call their grandparents. The key thing is knowing and understanding where you came from. And the second part you can do with Ancestry.com is do a DNA test. The DNA test will really give you a whole essential package of what countries you came from, where your bloodline is from. These are super, super important things to execute on when you're designing your family tree. The next thing, step number 4, is getting family reunions started. All right, get a family reunion, start a family reunion. If you don't already have one, you need to go ahead and create one. Right? The family reunions is another way of that bonding time, just similar to a family legacy meeting that is important, but it's not just, see, the family legacy meeting is for your immediate family. The family reunion is for all of your family. So we don't want to just leave out the other parts of your family. We want to implement everything from not just the immediate, but everyone that is in the picture that is still part of your bloodline. Okay, so you want to bring everyone together, and you may still be able to build your family tree even more based on this family reunion. What you will do is learn some of the things that you may not have known about yourself, because a lot of people knew you when you were younger. A lot of people may have known you when you were born. Okay, and especially if you're a foster parent, they might have known your actual parents themselves. Okay, because sometimes the parent, your biological parent, may have dropped you off and had a meeting with one of your parents that you have now. You never know. But the family reunion is the time to get all of your history. And speaking of history, number 5 is family history website and the Bible. Okay, if you're not aware of what a family history website Bible is, or family history Bible, right, is a family history Bible is a written version of everything digital. So Ancestry.com is the digital family tree, but the family Bible is the physical family tree. Okay, so we don't just depend on the digital, because what happens if Ancestry.com, something happens to them? We need it physically. So the family history Bible is something that you can physically write down, draw out, write their dates, when they were born, get their history. Like the Ancestry.com is so crucial that it'll even give you when exactly they were born, what times they worked, what years they worked, when they had kids. You will find siblings you never knew existed. That's how crazy it is. So the family Bible is something where maybe instead of going to the digital version, you could just flip through real quickly if you're trying to look for something. Now, the family history website is something different. This is a visual representation of your family. If you were to think long term, this is the point of this. This is something that, the reason why we're doing this is so that you can pass this down to generations and allow people to see their faces. See, back in the day, you didn't know what your great-great-great-great-grandparent even looked like. But this is what the family history website is for. They should be able to go to the family history website and see the family tree there, see the past family reunions that you've had, even get a photo of some of the family Bibles, family core values, which like I said, we'll discuss, the family CREST, which we'll discuss, and all of the great things that come with the actual website itself, the about you, the, contact info, all that. But the key thing is this is a visual representation of your actual website. This is super, super important, okay? Now, step number 6 is the family core values. This is where, if you set up a trust or a life insurance policy or any insurance policies, you want to make sure that there are proper values in place and proper traditions. Okay, so when you're passing this down for generations to come, you need to know, what traditions am I passing down? What are the values that I want my children to have? What are some of the things? So for example, how to create core values, this is how you do it. You want to first look at yourself internally and say, what are some characteristics that I personally find that are positive, that I like about myself, that I like other people to have as well? And then when you find those things out, then discuss it with your family as well. But if you then make that decision, then you identify what specific core value stands out that we want to add for ourselves and to go on. The reason why we have family core values, right, is because it's now the 7th step, is the family CREST. There are certain things on a family CREST that are important. Let me explain to you what a family CREST is. If you've watched Game of Thrones or Harry Potter, on Harry Potter there's a little crest on their wardrobe, right? And in Game of Thrones you see it all over the castles, right? Those colors back in the day when people were having fights, you would see the colors on the shields. That was part of their crest. That was also for them to identify who was friendly fire and who was an enemy. So what you need to do is figure out and find a family crest for yourself, or create a family crest for your family. There are certain pieces that are super important. You got like supporters, you got the shield, you have the crown, you have what personally represents your family, and then you have something called the motto. This is where the core values come into place, okay? The core values is the motto of your family. This is what we stand for. This is like a 2 to 3 phrase that represents our family as a whole that we want to pass down for generations to come. This is why everything is so important. So let's recap real quick. When it comes to creating a family legacy, there are certain things you want to implement today. You want to make sure you have the family legacy meeting. You want to have the family history, which then you want to have the family tree, the family reunion. Make sure you have a visual representation with your site and your Bible, so you don't have, when you're not just depending on the digital. You want to have core values and traditions, and then lastly, you want to create your family crest, because that is the identity of your family brand. If someone doesn't have that family crest, you're not family. Let's be real. So this is pretty much everything, y'all, when it comes to creating a family legacy. And look, if you want to learn more information on exactly how to create a family legacy and build a family business, go ahead and click the description. There are a lot of contents and a lot of information, even free stuff for you to work with. And look, I'm here to help you guys out. So if you have any questions, definitely put them down in the comments below as well, because I'm here to make sure that you all build a family business. So if you all found this video valuable and you found that this is something that you want to listen or watch more of, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.